In 1981, the U.S. Court of Appeals decided that a free and appropriate public education must provide an appropriate education as opposed to the best education. Schools do want to do the best for children, but within reason. Just 1 year later, the same court determined that other existing programs that were considered superior did not make a program in a school unsuitable. There are teaching methods and programs out there. Some of them are used by schools, other times they are not because the school has an existing program that does work, just possibly not as well. This case centered around the word appropriate. Amy, a student who was deaf, was denied a translator because she was one of the best students in her class. Her parents argued that she could advance even more if provided with the translator. The Supreme Court ruled that FAPE was to extend education to children with disabilities in a way that they would make some benefits. A two-part test came out of this case. 1. Has the school complied with the procedures of this act? And 2. Is the IEP developed in a way that the student will gain educational benefits? This case stands out because the two-part rule was used in many court cases to follow. This court case had a similar theme of an appropriate education versus the best education. The metaphor of a serviceable Chevy was compared to providing a Cadillac for every student. A reliable Chevy will do what it needs to at a reasonable cost. Today, school districts will make sure the needs of students are met, but within reason, especially financially. Hall versus Vance County Board of Education looked back at the Rowley case, specifically the second part of the test. The IEP and programs must ensure that a student's gains are not trivial. Special education teachers are held to helping students work towards their goals. The Polk family fought for their son to work with a physical therapist. Christopher was only given consultative services. The court did not rule in their favor because Christopher was receiving something, even if the help was limited. Today, there are many types of therapists to work with students with special needs. The amount of time they work with students varies. The case for Sharon Carter was ruled in her favor due to the fact that her 4-month growth reading goal was considered trivial. Case managers are responsible for creating goals that will provide more than trivial gains for students. Much like Shannon, the student in this case had goals that were considered de minimis, or too trivial to count. The court ruled that IEPs must provide meaningful benefits to students as it still is today. Michael's parents did not feel that their son was receiving an appropriate education. At the federal district court level, the school district won out based on 4 factors. Number 1, was the program individualized on the basis of the student's assessment and performance? 2, was the program delivered in the least restrictive environment? 3, were the services provided in a coordinated and collaborative manner by key stakeholders? And finally, 4, were positive academic and non-academic benefits demonstrated? These 4 factors still are in play today. There are goals specifically addressing social growth. Using the 4 factors from the previous case, the court determined that Bobby was receiving an appropriate education because the district could prove that he had grown academically, even though he was still not tracking with his classmates.